Hello everyone, welcome to Mark Walks. Today is May 29th and it's approximately 10:30 in the morning. It's a glorious sunny Friday and I'll be taking you through the Old Town St Lawrence area to show off Flora and Flows. So we'll be having a look at some of the parks and parkettes and discussing some markets along the way as well, as always. This here is Market Street, and they have it closed down now for pedestrians and for events and just a general hangout spot, it looks like. There's a lot of restaurants that are getting their patios set up now along the Market Street. And it will be like this, I believe, for the rest of summer, which is great. We're currently right beside the world famous St Lawrence Market, one of the greatest markets in North America. Now we'll take a little walk around and explore some of the parks and parkettes of St Lawrence Old Town. See the Flora and the Flows. There's various parks, parkettes around and surrounding the neighborhood. There's David Crombie, which is a corridor or linear style park, which we will first see here. It's currently undergoing some revitalizations and has various amenities through its linear style grounds, starting from like a kids area, kids playground, moves to a field and a baseball diamond, which is further to the east of this. This is the beginning of David Crombie Park. And then it moves along to a basketball court and various other amenities also. It's a very big park. And that's just the very beginning of it on the westerly side. It has various types of trees and greenery, which is great for the area. Let's have a look back through the esplanade here. Old Town St. Lawrence is a very green area. It has a lot of greenery, plant life, and parks, and a much slower city vibe. We're currently walking under the covered area, or covered canopy of the lower section of the St. Lawrence Market. This would be on Jarvis here. And since it's morning on a Friday, there's going to be lots of truck noise and construction noise, so hopefully you can hear me throughout the duration of the walk. If you were reading the news this morning, you may have noticed that Canada, quote unquote, unexpectedly entered a recession, technical recession, which would be 2 quarters of real negative GDP growth. And for the year, there's actually been 3 negative quarters, which would be 2025 Q2 and 2025 Q4, and now 2026 Q1. And this is the first time that Canada has entered a technical recession since 2020. Well, that's quite alarming. Like I've been saying, shore up your moat, especially if you overpaid for a house outside of the GTA. Could be problematic very soon. I hope you've been saving, planning, strategizing. No different for inside Toronto or the GTA as well. Just a lot more froth was seen outside. It's the only reason I keep mentioning that. I'm not trying to pick on outside of the GTA. I'm not trying to bother the smaller regions. I just noticed the majority of extrinsic price froth was really baked in in small towns and small regions west of Toronto and the GTA. So speak with your professionals and get your strategies together and prepare. Show up your moat. I'll just end it on that. I don't really want to get into too much markets and economics today. Treb hasn't announced their May stats yet, probably next week. So you'll see me posting about that next week. And I would assume Toronto as well will see some softer May numbers. I don't know if they'll be softer than April, maybe a little bit stronger, but nonetheless not great. Probably in the negative territory for sales and prices. Here's a look down King. And there's another parkette over there. It's called Market Lane Park. You'll see it in a minute. It's also undergoing some revitalization. The good thing about this area is it's very well kept. It's very well cared for, and it continues in its kind of tradition and heritage of being the old, beautiful portion of downtown Toronto. The old town. This is where Toronto was formed. Was once the village of York and became Toronto through this area. Here is Market Lane Park. You can see quite the revitalization underway. They've got it all torn up. Trees hopefully all stay. Like I said, this area has a lot of greenery and lots of different flora. That's the point of the walk, to show it off. Look at how verdant St. James Park is now. It looks like the tulips I missed, unfortunately. These are their tulip beds here. Those are earlier spring. However, this fountain's now been turned on and the flows look great. You can see there's many different types of trees here. I believe ash, beech, maple, and also some evergreens. The park is laid out kind of like Victorian style. So it's reminiscent of that era, because this neighborhood is heavily Victorian. And right beside the park is St. James Cathedral. Which is a wonderful spectacle for the neighborhood. It's a marvelous cathedral in the Old Town neighborhood, St. Lawrence. St. Lawrence, actually the border for St. Lawrence would be up until Front Street, technically. However, the BIA kind of extended it up till Queen, which makes sense. I would probably put it to here, to King. Lots of neighborhoods have had their borders kind of redrawn, reshapen over the various past decades as the city evolves and gets better. Here's the front entryway to this neo-Gothic beautiful cathedral. It has the second tallest spire for church or cathedrals in Canada. And the cornerstone was laid by Bishop John Strachan, who was the first Anglican bishop of Upper Canada. He was instrumental in U of T and the entire collegiate setup there with Trinity and I think even University College. So we've seen 3 parks so far. There's a total of around 5. And like I said, some are like smaller parks or parkettes. And I would even say there's some plazas and mini parkettes in the neighborhood. The next one is up here. This will be the fourth one before we go over to Barkzy. Most of the flows or the water fountains are found in St. James and maybe privately in like a condo courtyard. And then in Barkzy, that's the main flow in the neighborhood, the main water fountain. It's a glorious dog fountain that the entire city admires, as well as tourists, and I'm sure it's known worldwide at this point. The Barkzy Park dog fountain. So here is Court Square Park, or Courthouse Square Park. This is where there was actually gallows back in the day. So there was executions held here. It was an original site of a courthouse and jail for the town of York, village of York. It's got this beautiful covered walkway with climbing plants. Maybe they climb across or they've been cut back, but it would be really nice to see that. Even has what looked to be Belgian blocking pathway. It's almost like a steel pergola. And then this here is the courtyard area. Courthouse Square. Courthouse Square Park. It's a smaller, less traveled park. You get to it from King Street. These little beavers are showing up all over the area, and they're part of the Great Beaver Quest, which Old Town Toronto, I believe, is sponsoring. They have something to do with FIFA, and I'm not certain if they're the actual mascot or unofficial mascot of FIFA World Cup for Canada, but they're cute little painted beavers. An artist had a hand in it, I think from Barry. It's good for her. Here's Discovery Walk. So you can do a discovery walk throughout this area. You find these placards around, and good way to find your way around. This is the entry here to Courthouse Square. So where I came through was just like a covered steel pergola, and that is how you would get here from King instead of skipping streets like I did. I did want to mention though, there's a lot of places for lease and buy in the area if you are interested. The area is, in my opinion, the best downtown adjacent, core adjacent for live, work, and play. You can live here in one of the beautiful condos. There's various luxury condos, like 60 Colburn right there, which is a soft loft building. And Google Canada is even right here. So you could live there and work next door. There's also other various luxury buildings in the neighborhood, like the L Tower, Barkzy condos, London on the Esplanade, 88 Scott, and some older buildings as well. Market Square condos and Esplanade condos. Down there is a very cool little street called Leaders Lane, which leads to Colburn. That has various amazing high-end restaurants, as well as a great pub, PJ O'Brien's. This here is King Edward. We've shown this before. Glorious old world hotel with my favorite lobby bar, Consort Bar, just down there. It's an elegant, sophisticated lobby bar. It's very quiet. You'll be unbothered in there. As you can see, there's a lot of flora. Not much here on King, but in the whole neighborhood, I believe this area has some of the most flora in downtown. Lots of trees, flowers, flower beds and planters. I just don't see that really anywhere else that has a lot of condos within its border, right downtown or right core adjacent. So we're right beside the financial district here, which is what makes it such a convenient place to live if you work in finance. This is 88 Scott, another great building to look into. And prices are really like hampered. They're down quite a bit here for condos. And you all know I've been mentioning, in my opinion, it's not financial advice, but I believe there is a generational bottom on downtown Toronto condos, especially in this neighborhood. This is a premium, sophisticated, and well-lived area. So you can get in here now for what may be generational bottoms in condo prices. You've seen a few large funds coming out and stating that they will be purchasing resale and new construction condos. So that's quite the signal. I believe I've been mentioning this a lot longer than that news came out, but there you go. Let's see if they are instrumental in finding that bottom, and let's see if they're influential in leading the way now. Doesn't have to be me. Case by case, so do your own information, or do your own research, sorry. That's the L Tower there, which is right at the end of the Esplanade. And highly walkable. It's like one fraction of a block to Brookfield Place. Over here is 75 on the Esplanade, smack dab in the middle, more foreground after the older buildings. And that one is a great building because prices are a little more affordable to lease and purchase. And then over there by the Gooderham is the Barkzy condos. That's an upscale building, and units in there are $1 million and up probably still. And here we are, final park. This is Berczy Park, or Barkzy Park as people now affectionately named it. Looks like it just had the hedges and grass cut. Lots of different types of flora here. Small oak trees. There's even a sycamore, maybe a few sycamores. And it's just behind the Gooderham. It's about one block in when you come off of Yonge, east of Yonge, and Front. It's on Front and Wellington. And this is the beloved dog fountain. Cast iron dogs surrounding it, all looking up to their golden bone. And the flow is magnificent here. Look at it go. Now this is a water fountain. Usually the favorite in all of downtown Toronto. It's whimsical, charming, and has great flow. And the dogs are made from, I believe, cast iron. There's a little cat right there, and it's known as Pam McCat, right here. You see how it's looking northerly over this way. to this lamppost here, this Victorian style lamppost. There's a couple of birds up there. And that's what the cat's looking at. The two little birds here. And it's affectionately known as Pan the Cat because Pan McConnell was instrumental in the development of Berkzy Park, as you see today. It was designed and built with Claude Cormier landscape architects. And it's easily my favorite park in the city. How about you? I mean, you can tell me in the comment section what you think. It's got a great sitting area. Sometimes people set up and do some busking, like piano or guitar here. Great little plaza to sit in. And this fountain, from any angle, is photogenic, as is much of this neighborhood. If you go down by the St Lawrence market, stand on front facing westerly. Once the Gooderham has been revitalized in completion, the photographs from that angle towards the city and the financial district are absolutely glorious. Some of the best photos of Toronto, of the east here, come out of that angle, or that sight line looking down front. Again, this is also extremely photogenic water fountain. You can come and enjoy the park sitting, or go nearby and grab a bite to eat or a drink and just spend a lot of time here. If you're a local, it's a huge benefit for you. And like I said, this neighborhood's a little easier to get into now with the lower rental or lease prices and lower purchase prices. For condos, literally 5 minutes to the financial district, and again 5 minutes to this. So I think I'll end it here with one last look at the glorious park and fountain. There's a sycamore right there, dead in the middle of the shot. You can see its camouflage bark. Those are very unique and interesting trees. There's another one, I think, right over there in the back. The leaves look like they're just finally bud bursting and coming into full foliage. Plenty of tree coverage here. Have a look down there. A little lane of trees and almost a little plaza of seating. Wonderful when the buskers come, because then you have some entertainment. I'll end it here. Like I said, that's around the 5th park that we explored. This one we've explored the most. It's David Crombie, and we saw some Market Lane Parkette. Then we saw St James Park. That was a 3rd. And then we saw Courthouse Square Park, which is a smaller parkette. And this is the final one, Barkzy Park. Like I said, there's other mini parkettes and maybe little private park, or like little water features in courtyards of condos. And that's your little tour of some Flora and Flow. Thanks so much for watching. If you're looking to buy or lease in the St Lawrence Old Town area, please DM me. I'd be happy to help. Have a great day.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay.